Imagine waking up to the sound of bulldozers and construction workers. You walk outside your house and you see workers building a bridge for a new freeway that goes right through your house. You run to your best friend's house, but as you turn the corner to her street, you smell something horrible. As you get closer, you realize a junkyard has been built behind your friend's house. Later, someone tells you your home is being overtaken by government officials. But not only your home, but 5,000 other homes and businesses in your city. Where will you live? Where will you go to school? But you're Mexican, and at this time you know government officials do not value your voice. What do? This was the reality of residents living in Logan Heights, San Diego in 1960. The Chicano movement is a civil rights movement for Mexican Americans here in the U.S. that took place in the 1960s and 70s. Most of our class is Mexican American, and we go to a school in a city that was a main stage for demonstrations and protests that were held during the Chicano movement. In the 1960s, Mexican Americans came together to fight for the recovery of land, farm worker rights, and education reform. Today, I will share with you about how they fought to recover those things and how they fought for the recovery of land, for farm worker rights, and education reform. I am Chicana, and I have been taught my whole life on the struggle of my people, and I have also been furthermore educated by doing research. So let's begin to see how the Chicanos fought for the recovery of their land. Let's start with what Chicano means. The word Chicano comes from Americans who put a label on the first generation Mexican Americans. It was meant to be a negative and derogatory term. It was meant to mean we are neither Mexican enough to be Mexican or American enough to be American, so we were singled out with no identity. But during the Chicano movement, Chicanos took the name and turned it to a positive term to mean pride in your culture. Chicanos during this time began to question the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, which was the treaty that ended the Mexican-American War. The treaty stated that Mexico would give half its territory to the U.S. in exchange for $15 million. But during this time, Chicanos demanded that the land was returned because they felt that it was illegally stolen. A 3-day march that took place in 1966 were made up of protesters that were demanding that the governor of Albuquerque begin an investigation for the land grants. As we can see, the land was not restored, considering Texas, New Mexico, just to name a few of the states, are still part of U.S. territory. According to CaliforniaMexicoCenter.org, last access, October 18, 2014, Jose Gutierrez, a member of MAYO, which is Mexican American Youth Organization, stated, "That gave us a homeland. That was the reason the land was stolen, and it gives us a cause to get it back." The fight for the recovery of land was unsuccessful, but the fight for farm worker rights would not be. Boycotts, marches, and strikes took place to fight for better working conditions, insurance benefits, and for higher working wages. United Farmers Workers was an organization that was formed in 1962 by Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huerta. Their most famous strike was a strike in Delano, California for grapes and wine. The workers that worked the field were demanding the farm owners would pay more money. So they called for people to stop buying grapes and buying wine, which took a lot of money out of the owners. After 5 years, the owners and the leaders of the United Farmers Organization came together and a compromise was made, and the workers got their wage increase. According to UnitedFarmWorkers.org, last access, October 18, 2014, Cesar Chavez stated, "There's no turning back. We will win. We are winning because ours is a revolution of mind and heart." Farm workers were not the only ones working for better treatment. High school and college students were also fighting for the same fight. At this time, schools were segregated, so the quality of Mexican Americans was low. the Mexican American community at this time had the highest dropout rate of high school and the lowest college attendance. High school and college students formed groups. They fought for better textbooks, for better lessons plans that related to Mexican history and culture. They demanded for better treatment from teachers. They demanded that they read books that they could identify with. The first student walkout took place here in Los Angeles on March 1st, 1969. Similar to how high schools work now, back then, if you were in school sitting in your seat, the school received money. So for each time these walkouts took place, the school lost money. And the consequences grew on March 8th when students, like in this picture, were beaten and arrested by police. Not much change took place after a meeting that was held, but over time, you could see the change. Today, we still have organizations that were formed in the 1960s by Chicano students, including MECHA, which is a group that is available here at Cal State LA. Joe Rodriguez, class of 1970, Garfield High School, and writer for the San Jose Mercury News, stated on NV database on April 2013, last access October 18, 2014. He said, "More than any other year, it shaped my political and social values that guide my work today as a journalist. It helped educate each other and the values, and it all started with the East LA walkouts." Students helped educate each other back in the 1970s, and I hope today I have educated you as well. As we all now know, in the 1960s, Mexican Americans came together to fight for the recovery of land, farm worker rights, and for education reform that is now known as the Chicano movement. I shared how Chicanos fought for the recovery of land, fought for farm worker rights, and fought for education reform. So, in Logan Heights, San Diego, on June 1969, residents' wish was fulfilled by granting a park in their city. Organizations raised money to clean street walls and for artists to come and paint murals. Every April 22nd, the city hosts a big celebration commemorating the day they got their city back. So the next time you are driving over Interstate 5 over San Diego, look down and you can see some of the murals that were painted in 1960 during the Chicano movement. Thank you.